Hey, everybody. Hey, it's Kisa. It's Coach K on this terrific Tuesday, welcoming you in to our daily show on dating and relationships. And I hope that you're having a great start to your day. Hope that you, excuse me, had a great start to your day. And I hope that your greatness in the day is continuing on into this evening here. Thanks for joining us, by the way, here on our talk show as we talk through dating issues and all the like. What's going on today? What's going on? What's going on with you? Are you okay? Are you good? Uh, Everything okay with you and the fam? I know it's a little bit of a different background. Just chose to use the bedroom today instead of the backdrop for just a little bit of a change up to make it a little more smooth today. So we are here. Let's go. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about red flags in relationships and in dating. That's our topic that we're going to cover over these next 2 weeks before we get ready to evolve, so to speak, and kick off another new part of what we're offering for you. So, what are some red flags in dating and relationships? Well, we're going to get to the relationship red flags in just a little while, but I think it would be really, really good if I began this program tonight by making sure that I introduce myself. I'm not going to assume that everyone is here knows me, right? There are going to be some new people who are going to be joining in and seeing me later on. So, who am I? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am Kisa Sharp and I'm a life coach. But I'm also a 30-year media veteran. I'm a broadcasting, radio, television, and also just media veteran, even print communications. I'm a columnist and writer for the Birmingham Times. I'm an Alabama maker of the product All Shea Naturals. Yeah, I'm an Alabama maker. Okay. And in fact, I've had this going. A new season happens in under 7 days. So this discount will be going away. But if you want to try us at All Shea Naturals, there's the code. You can use summer as we get ready to close out summer for a 30% discount. These are homemade body butters and sugar scrubs. I realize that so many of you, so many of us work and may or may not have the time. And sometimes if we were to be real honest, may not even have the resources to go and to treat ourselves to that day at the spa. So, what we endeavor to do at All Shea Naturals is we endeavor to bring the spa home to you. And not only do we make luxurious, wonderful body products for our ladies, but we're also making some products for our not only our queens, but also our kings as well. And y'all, let me just say, we have some items that are coming up pretty doggone soon. As we turn a new season, we're getting ready for some changes. We have some partnerships that we have to tell you about and some new products, okay? Some new promotions, products, and partnerships. So stay tuned. So if you want to again get the discount, you can do that with 30% off with code summer while it lasts. It is going away in the next couple of days. So if you want to grab a discount, I would snag that if I were you, because like I said, we are unveiling some new things and some expanded things and some expanded locations. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about that and really excited about what we can offer you at allsheanaturals.com. What are we talking about here? We are, how can I say it? We are talking about dating and relationships. Now, we began this venture like several weeks ago, talking about kicking it off with narcissism, talking about the effects on a relationship of narcissism. Okay. That was so well received. We're going to stay tuned on what we have coming up with that. But I'm dedicating really my YouTube channel to narcissistic abuse recovery and emotional abuse recovery because it was so well received. And people just need someone to let them know that they understand and that they hear them and that they are there. That is what you have from me as a life coach. I understand, I hear you, and I am there with you, meaning I want to be able to help you in that space, okay? Because what you're doing, even in that, you're having to navigate change, and you're having to really enact change. Because you've got to, in some cases, teach people how to treat you when you're dealing with emotional abuse. You've got to relearn respecting yourself. You've got to relearn boundaries. You've got to relearn what you want, relearn what you desire, and relearn what opened the door to this relationship in which I have taken a lesser role. Okay. So all of that is change. And you know where the change begins? Right here. You won't see it on the outside. You won't see it in your life until you begin to change how you think about it, how you think about yourself, understanding you deserve more, understanding you deserve better, understanding that you deserve to be treated well, that you don't have to be in a subservient position, whether you are a woman or male, regardless of your role or your title or your job or your economic background or your family or your position. That does not relegate you to a lesser role. And sometimes we inadvertently put ourselves in a lower position, which opens the door for abuse. And that could come, in fact, many psychologists would say that the root cause of maladaptive behavior and the root cause of abusive behavior and the root cause of being the victim of abusive behavior, we can all trace those things back to, is what some psychiatrists and some psychologists say, back to our childhood and the roles and the things and the treatment that we sustained when we were children. You're the only one who can answer that question. But even before I get into our lesson tonight on relationship red flags, I want to say, if you want to know what that is, if you want to know what causes that, here's what you do. You pray and you ask the Lord to show you what's the root cause of you being in a position and maybe even allowing treatment of yourself that is less than what is to be desired, because there's some things in us that really only the Father knows. Okay. And some things that are so deep and so repressed and so hidden. And so, but it manifests itself on the outside in which we experience life and how others perceive us and how others treat us. And I'll close by saying this: when you start to see yourself as valuable, when you start to see yourself as deserving more, others have no choice but to do the same. I'll say it again. When you see yourself as extremely valuable as you are in the sight of God, as you see yourself as deserving more, as you do as a child of God, others will automatically fall in line, see you as deserving more, and treat you better. Okay? So apparently that was the lesson before the lesson. And we'll take it all. But just a good reminder, for all of us that we shouldn't have to settle, you know. And some of us have been made to feel that our standards are too high, when that's not the case at all. It is the case that we've been asking the wrong people to meet those standards. Just let that sink for just a second. It's not necessarily the case that your standards are too high. In some cases, you're asking the wrong people to meet those standards. So you know what that means? Gotta move on. Dun, 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 dun. Gotta move on. Dun, 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 dun. If they can't do it, if they're not apt to do so, you can move on. Whole big wide world out there, billions of people. So just be encouraged as we even begin, right? Lesson before the lesson, like what? Okay. All right. So told you what we kicked off with, right? So what we're doing, I want to go back and lay a groundwork, because we're going somewhere, okay, with this program. We're not just on here just talking and just hanging out and all that kind of stuff. No, we're going somewhere. And what we're getting ready to do, we're laying a foundation, okay? as we get ready to move into the fall season, what they call cuffing season, y'all. Cuffing season. Y'all don't get cuffed by some scrubs, okay? Don't get cuffed by scrubs out there who are just looking to spend time with you because it's cold. They want to come in, they want to come in because it's cold out there. They want to be booed up with someone for the season. No, no, no. If you're going to be booed up with them, then you need to let them follow your standards. They need to have some standards here. You're not going to just be booed up with me for for nothing, okay? So we're sharing red flags in dating. If you go back to Monday's lesson, I really laid the groundwork, okay? And really gave an encouraging, really impromptu message for those of you who are dating and desiring a relationship. And it was just really an encouraging, impromptu, introductory message, okay, to everything. Today, we're going to get into some of the red flags, okay? We're going to kind of get into the nitty gritty of it all. So when we talk about red flags, one of the first things I believe in being very, very clear. I believe in being very, very, what's the word? Very, very clear, very simplistic, very concrete and concise. There's a word I'm trying to get to, but I haven't quite gotten to it yet, or maybe I have and I'm trying to be more expansive. But what all I'm trying to say here is, as I'm navigating this equipment, okay, I believe in being very clear, is what I'm saying. Okay. I believe in being very, very clear. So when we talk about relationship red flags or red flags in relationships and dating and all of that stuff, what are we talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. I believe in being very, very clear. Okay. Um, what is a red flag in relationships? Here we go. That's what I wanted to show you. Now you let Kisa tell it. Let me give you my definition even before I get to that. What are some red flags that you've noticed in relationships? And I'd love for you to talk to me. What are some red flags that you've noticed in relationships? Put them in the chat, put them in the comment, right? Like, what are some red flags that you've noticed? Okay, what are some issues in relationships that you've noticed? And what do we think about when we think about a red flag? We think about dangling that flag there. It's something that you see. This is Kisa's definition, that if you don't stop, pause, or redirect, it has the potential. Listen to me, somebody. It has the potential to cause some problems down the line. We're talking about relationship red flags. It has the potential that if you don't stop, if you don't acknowledge it, it can cause some problems later on. A relationship red flag. Let's listen to Jennifer Kleisman, who's a licensed clinical social worker in Chicago. I think I used this one yesterday, even though I have another one. But this is from today.com. She defines it as a trait or value that shows you your future. Listen at this: incompatibility with a person. Shows your future incompatibility with a person. This can be anything from someone having a history of infidelity to conflicting lifestyles and beyond. A relationship red flag is designed to show you that there is a problem and take note of the problem and stop. Because if you don't, there will be issues on down the line. And y'all, I'm getting a little annoyed by what I'm hearing. I have my window open and they're actually cutting the grass. So I'm actually going to put you on hold for just a second. So, anyway, as we get into the first relationship red flag, let me remove that. And what I'm going to do is actually give you a little music, give you a little music. And guess what? We're going to be right back as I get rid of that noise in the background because that's annoying me. So, give me just like 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds to a minute, and I'll be right back. Did you hear my lips? See my lips? All right. Okay, I got rid of that. It's better. I still hear it, but it's not as prevalent as it was before. So let me go ahead and turn the music down. All right. Let's get over into our program today. And what is it? Relationship red flag numero uno. I'm sure you can think of a number, and we're going to talk about a number over the next couple of weeks. And I really wanted to bring you a couple, but once I got into this, I thought, nah, this is going to take a little time. So let us look at this one today, and let's kind of sit here for just a few minutes, not long. Relationship red flag number one, controlling behavior. And you already know me. If I'm going to give you something, I am going to tell you exactly what it is and show you exactly what it is. What is controlling behavior? Controlling behavior is what you think it is when someone tries to manipulate you in order to get their own needs met. Don't you what and it can involve several things. Okay, slow down, Kisa. Isolation, meaning pulling you away from your friends or family. The person who's a controller only wants to be the person that you listen to. They only want to be the person that you hang with. They alone, because what it's establishing is it's weakening and it's kicking away all your other props. And so what happens is you only focus on the person who's the controller, and that's what they want. Scary thing about that is that means they get to control how they treat you. They get to control what they do to you because you're kicking away all your other sources of support. And a lot of times controlling people, that's what they want because they solely want to be the object of your affection. And the sad thing to me about this one is when you see it played out, you're thinking to yourself, I mean, the fact that someone has enough time, the fact that they have enough boldness, the fact that they have enough in their thought process to be thinking about these manipulative behaviors, moving you away. Let me and listen, I've seen it work on both sides. It's not just men who control women. Sometimes women use actions to control men, to act like they need all of the attention so he doesn't go and spend any other time with his family or his mother or his sisters. Sometimes women engage in controlling behaviors, talking about that the family. Okay, talking about those in the family to encourage him to stay away from those. That's control as well. Now, oftentimes I would dare say a lot of times those men are controllers too. But here's the thing: there's a principle in the Bible. That principle in the Bible says that you reap what you sow. So often, while controllers tend to think that they have it all wrapped up and all sewn up and they know exactly, what's going on, a lot of times I've seen them being manipulated and controlled by a woman as well. So it works both ways. But just the way in which that woman manipulates and controls a guy, it can be totally different. You understand? But a lot of times I don't know why. I don't know why, they can't really even see it. I mean, I've seen women who, in situations where there have been there's step parenting situations, a woman will control that man and not want him to deal with his other children from a previous relationship or previous marriage. Yeah, women do that. Or there's some women who say, well, you're not going to see your children, or they're not going to allow they won't allow a father to come and see his child because you know what? You're not with me. So because you're not with me, you're not going to have a relationship with your child. I'm going to do everything I can to keep you from having a relationship with your child. That is control. And we're using that is control. I don't care how we slice it. I don't care how we talk about it. That is control. If you're a woman and you don't want that man to see his children, I'm going to get on you ladies as well, and you don't have to like it. But if you don't want that man to see his children, have a relationship with his children, and that child who was there perhaps even before you were, maybe not, maybe he had the child while you were together, but at the end of the day, it's still his blood. And so to act like he can't have a relationship or you're going to give him a hard time because he wants a relationship with that child, that is control. To not want a man to have a relationship with his mother, to be in competition with his mother or any other female in his family because you want all the attention, that is control, ladies. That is control. Gentlemen, it works both ways. Men who don't want their wives or significant others to spend time with their family, they want all the attention on them and their family. Y'all, this is real life. Control. That's control. And you've got to see all of that. My prayer is that you see all of that when you're dating them. You need to do that. You need to go to the family functions. You need to see if he makes a suggestion to spend time with your parent. You need to see if he makes a suggestion to invite your folks over when you all have family gatherings, or if he's just inviting his folks over. Let's do this while we're dating. No, I want to sit back. And just like we're getting ready to enter into the fall season and the seasons are getting ready to change, no, I want to sit back and I want to see, after all of the niceties are over, after we've fallen in love and we've had all those fluttering feelings of love, after we've hung out with each other as much as we want, watching movies, going on dates, and all those feel goods. Now I want to sit back and I want to see, how does this look in real life? How are you treating me in real life? How are you treating my family? How are you acting when I say I'm going out with the girls tonight? I'm not going to spend time with you. How are you going to act when I say I'd rather stay in tonight? I'm a little tired, so I want to get some rest because I have a busy day at work. How are you going to act when that happens? How are you going to act when I say, and this is what you need to do, ladies, when you go on that girls trip while you're dating him? And then not only you do that, if you desire to move forward in marriage, you go on the girls trips when you're married. You don't stop that, but you need to be seeing how he responds to that. And I will say, in some instances, we don't see everything up front. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging because that dating relationship phase, it can move quickly. We're running through that and we're giving it a year and we're just trying to see, okay, good. He was cool with this. Okay, good. So they must be cool as a general. Okay, this happened. Okay, he was cool with that. Okay, he was nice to my mother. He was nice to my brother. No, 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 no. You need to see consistently after the beginning, after the first month, after the second month, after the sixth month, after the eighth month. What does it look like? What do weekends look like? What is he suggesting you do? What is she suggesting you do? Because there are people, and it's so unfortunate because family is one of the most beautiful things, and relationships one of the most beautiful things that we own. But there are some people, let me go ahead and tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been married or if you don't know, there's some people who prioritize their family. They don't want to hang with your family. Uh, What sense does that make, though, if you're in a relationship? No, you're not. Let me issue a disclaimer. I get it. I hear both sides. Let me issue a caveat. No, you did not marry the family. You married that person. But what you also have to make sure you understand is if that person's family is important to them, if that person's family is important to them, then you want to make sure that you're making time equally for them as well. And that person needs to make time for your family equally as well. And I'm not talking about a 50-50 situation. We go your folks one weekend, then my folks the other weekend. I mean, some people may have that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, the exceptions are there. I mean, if the person's family is crazy and they have said, I don't want to be with my family, that's a totally different situation. That's not what I'm saying. But if you've got someone who loves their family, whose family is here, they spend time with their family, they love their family, and you're going to get in a relationship and now it's all about you and your family. Control. That gives me controlling vibes. And that's a red flag, ladies and gentlemen. And it's something you need to watch, you need to see, and you need to pay attention to. Slow down. Not that you can't go forward, but you might want to get that straight before you go on and put a ring on it, or before you seal the deal. Because people can say, well, why are you making a big deal about it now? You knew this was the deal, or it's always been like this. You didn't make a big deal about it when we were dating. So as uncomfortable as it is, we've got to be grown. And we've got to call out some things, not in the sense of being ugly, but we've got to, when we see some things that are undesirable, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to be grown and we've got to be mature enough to, guess what? To say something about it. Okay. Controlling behavior. It can involve isolation, isolating someone from their family. We talked about that, okay? Let me make this a little bit larger. Monitoring. Ooh, someone who's monitoring who you're talking to, your text and emails. Maybe when you go out of the room, they're picking up your phone and they're just like, okay. Oh, I saw. Oh, who is she talking to? And they're holding your phone when they come back. Hey, who's so and so? Sometimes, and I'm talking about in marriage and in relationships. Again, this is mostly centered toward or focused toward those who are dating. But they're holding up that phone. Who's such and such? Now, if you're dating, you're married up. I could maybe see it sometimes, but hey, y'all, we're grown. We have relationships at work. We have people that we go to lunch with at work. There's all sorts of stuff. We have relationships in a variety of arenas. Everything is not someone sneaking and freaking. I'm sorry, everything is not. And I know men and who are intimidated by their wives or significant others dealing with other men, going to lunch or working with them or even talking to them. I mean, give me a break. I mean, you're a single person and every man that you talk to. So it's like all of a sudden, this is how ridiculous it is to me. So when you get, some men or women, when you get married, they don't want you to talk to anybody of the opposite sex. Well, how ridiculous is that? You work with members of the opposite sex. You have friends who are members of the opposite sex. So why in the world would all of a sudden, because I'm dating you or because I'm married to you, I can't talk to them anymore because you're afraid that they're saying something to me, they're trying to get with me? We weren't together before you came along. They were there and we were talking on the phone. We weren't together before you came along. So why now? Why do I wait until you come on the scene and all of a sudden now it's a big deal and I'm tempted now to be with them now? No, that's control. That is control and manipulation. Control and manipulation. And the person who's trying to clamp down, well, you don't need to be talking to him. You don't need to be talking to her. The person who's trying to clamp down, I would almost call, and I'm being facetious when I say this, wink, wink, kind of. I would dare you to run an audit of their day. I would dare you to run an audit of their phone and see who they're talking to. And if you think they're just talking to only people of their same sex, you've got it wrong. Normally the ones who are trying to control, they're trying to control because they know what they have the potential to do. And I'm going to leave that alone and go ahead and read what's on this screen. But I said it. And I'm not taking it back. Normally those who are trying to control, they're controlling out of what they know they're capable of. It's projection a lot of times. One tool of, you guessed it, a narcissist. I'm going to project on you cheating because this is what I'm doing. And so if I project it on you, I take the attention off of myself. Okay, keep it moving, Kisa, keep it moving. We're talking about controlling behavior, deprivation, depriving someone of their basic needs. If you're a controlling person will deprive you of their basic needs. It can be intimacy in marriages. That's a thing now. Sexless marriages, it's a thing now. And guess what? It's not just the women denying, it's not just the women denying the men. There's some men who pride themselves on denying intimacy from their wives. I've read it. It is a thing now where men are withholding. Now, there are various reasons why they could be. Some are in the closet. Some have really no interest in women. Let's just go ahead and call it that. Some are being stretched. They're out having intimacy and relations with other people, so they have nothing left for their spouse. And others are passive aggressive. And others, they use intimacy, sex, as a way to withhold from their spouse, as a way to punish them. Go read it. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Passive aggressiveness. It's a tool of a controller, and particularly someone, a narcissist as well, but particularly someone who's controlling, and they're not comfortable confronting. So they withhold things as a way to punish you and as a way to control you. They deprive you. Sexless marriages. Oh, it's a thing now. Couples start off hot and heavy and they end up literally like, what happened? It's a thing. Threatening to use weapons and intimidation. And, it's obvious when people have weapons, but, even that can even extend to people who have weapons around the house. They just kind of have weapons kind of laying around to let you know, don't try nothing. Men and women. And then manipulation, we talked about that. And, and there's some other signs of controlling behavior too, which include things like everything has to go their way. If it's not my way, it ain't going to be done. Okay. That's another thing about controlling behavior as well. It's got to be my way. I'm going to choose what you want to eat. I'm going to choose where we go. That's very obvious. Okay. So, what are some of the ramifications of that? It's all taking a hit it's all causing a hit to your self-esteem. Okay. It's all causing a hit to your self-esteem. It's to rob you of your ability to act. It's to rob you of your confidence. And let me be very clear when we talk about things like controlling behavior and different things like that as it relates to abuse in relationships and relationship red flags. You may not think it's a big deal. It may start off where it's not a big deal. But if you don't hear anything that I have to say about this, I want you to hear this. There are repercussions of controlling behavior. There are repercussions of it, and it does affect you eventually, whether through depression, withdrawal. Some people overeat because we weren't created to be controlled by another being. We were created to establish dominion. God created us in his image to establish dominion and to rule. Now, as it relates to the hierarchy in marriage, maybe a wrong word, but as it relates to our order in marriage and divine order, God did place the husband as the head. There is God, there is the husband, and then there is the wife. But the Bible says we're going to submit ourselves to our husbands as he submitted to Christ. Well, you already know if that man is not submitted to Christ, and it doesn't matter if he's a pastor, preacher, teacher, minister, prayer warrior, evangelist, apostle, it does not matter. If he's not submitted to God, you already know we're going to have some issues. And for those who have to tell you what the Bible says a wife should submit to her husband, you already know. Because here's the secret, gentlemen. This is for free. When you're living godly, when you're in obedience to Christ, and when you're leading that household in a godly manner, you don't have to tell a woman anything about submitting to you. She willingly submits to your leadership. Yeah, she might have a little mouth every now and then. She might have a little opinion every now and then. She might be mouthy. But your leadership and your submission to Christ settles it. It settles it. And, I have seen couples argue and all that kind of, trying to establish dominance and all of that stuff. All you have to say is, look, we're not going to argue about this, sweetheart. Let's take it to, I believe this is the right thing. I believe that this is what the Lord spoke to me. But you know what? Let's pray about it, and we're gonna breathe on it. Unless this decision has to be made immediately, we're gonna breathe on it. We're gonna let the Lord speak to both of us. All this arguing and trying to, you're not gonna control me, and sometimes, ladies, we gotta chill out on that too. You're not gonna control me. You're not gonna tell me. I know. Enough of that. Enough of it. If you're dating him, if you don't believe it's right, do you have to continue? Do we have to argue? Do we have to fight about it? Look, I just believe we're in two different places. I don't agree with it. Look, it's been great. We can continue to be friends, but as far as this relationship going any further, no. And that's okay. And we move on. It really is that simple. It really is. And really, when we boil it down to marriage, it really can be that simple too. I'm not telling anybody to leave their husband, not telling anybody to leave their wife. I have to say that. I'm saying it really can be that simple. Sometimes you come to the end of a road, even in a marriage. No need to fight about it. No, I mean, what are we fighting about? What are we fussing about? Either we're going in the same direction or we're not. Simple. If we are, great. Let's continue to work. If we're not, hey, great. This is it. What do we do next? Sometimes we make things real difficult. But that controlling behavior, I want you to watch out for that. And aside from that, the reason you need to watch out is there are times that controlling behavior can lead to abuse. A controller will oftentimes stop at nothing in order to maintain control. So let me give you, in closing here, something very serious. You're being controlled. You fear for your life. You don't even have to call 88788. I'll repeat it. Text 88788. National Abuse Hotline. And a national domestic abuse hotline. There's also an 800 number I have on the screen, 800-799-7233, 800-799-7233. Here's another resource that I have for you. If you want to know how you're doing with your relationship, let's say you're in a relationship and you want to know how it's going, I got you covered. Here's a quiz that you can take. I love this site, verywellmind.com/couples-quiz. Let's see how your relationship is going. I dare you. You really I think it's got like a 14 or 15 question quiz or whatever, so you can see the health of your relationship. I don't need anybody to tell me how my relationship is going. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. See how quick that is? Don't take it then. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But if you have some questions, maybe consider it. If you're wondering, maybe consider it. Talking about relationship red flags. And then finally, if you are in need of a life coach, ta-da! KeishaSharp.com, life coaching. Take a look at some of the services that I offer. Not only life coaching, there are other services that I offer as well. emceeing, voiceover work, all sorts of media training services, media training, all of that stuff. So full service media professional I am, in addition to being a certified life coach. There's your couples quiz. There's my site. I am Keisha, talking about controlling behavior today, relationship red flags, and I will be back tomorrow, you already know, with another installment of Relationship Red Flags as we talk through this whole dating scenario. I love y'all so much. I really do. Why else would I come and hang out with you every night? Because I love you and I want you to win. And I'm excited about just teaching this so we can all connect better and we can all be better. No condemnation to anyone. Hey, listen, we're going to just live this life to the best ability that we can, okay? It's a wonderful life, and we're going to make the best of it that we can. I pray that you do. I'll talk to you later, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. You have any story ideas? Contact me. You need any help? Contact me. Get in my inbox, okay? I'm confidential. You notice I've never mentioned anybody's name on this broadcast, and I never will unless they tell me to use their name, but I never will because I'm confidential, okay? That's a part of my pact with my clients. I may give you an example and may show you the example, but I never will reveal the identity of someone else. That is just kind of how I do business. It's how I roll. Love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock tonight. Okay. Remember, like and share the broadcast. Like, share, and comment. 3 ways that you can help me. Mwah.